What is the history of gun control leading to the NFA? Have you ever wondered how gun control in the United States evolved into what we see today? The journey leading to the National Firearms Act, or NFA, is quite fascinating. It all starts with the Second Amendment, which guarantees the right to keep and bear arms. This was originally understood in the context of a well-regulated militia. However, as firearms technology advanced and concerns about crime grew, the government began to look for ways to regulate certain firearms. The National Firearms Act was enacted in 1934. This was the first significant federal gun control law. It was introduced during the Prohibition era, a time marked by gang violence. Criminals were using machine guns and sawed-off shotguns, which raised alarms among lawmakers. To address this, the NFA imposed a tax on the manufacture and transfer of specific firearms. It required registration of these weapons with the federal government. The goal was to control the circulation of these dangerous weapons without outright banning them. In 1938, the Federal Firearms Act was introduced. This law required gun manufacturers, importers, and dealers to obtain federal licenses. It also mandated that they maintain records of gun sales. Additionally, it prohibited certain individuals, like convicted felons, from purchasing firearms. While this law laid the groundwork for more comprehensive regulations, it was limited in scope. A key moment in this history came with the Supreme Court case United States v. Miller in 1939. The court upheld the NFA's regulation of sawed-off shotguns. It ruled that such weapons did not relate to the preservation of a well-regulated militia. This decision affirmed the government's authority to regulate specific firearms under the Constitution. The next major development was the Gun Control Act of 1968. This law was passed after several high-profile political assassinations, including those of President John F. Kennedy and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The Gun Control Act repealed and replaced the Federal Firearms Act. It expanded regulations to include destructive devices like bombs and grenades. It also broadened the definition of machine guns and imposed stricter licensing requirements. From a Republican perspective, the history of gun control leading to the NFA is often seen as a response to public safety concerns. The NFA's tax and registration system targeted specific weapons associated with crime. Republicans typically argue that these laws should not infringe on the rights of law-abiding citizens to own firearms for self-defense and hunting. Understanding this history helps clarify that the NFA and related laws focus on regulating certain firearms considered outside the norm of typical civilian use. This approach aims to maintain strong Second Amendment protections while ensuring regulations target weapons that pose unique risks. The journey of gun control leading to the National Firearms Act reflects early federal efforts to regulate firearms linked to criminal misuse. It has been shaped by Supreme Court rulings and expanded regulations over the decades. This history is essential for anyone interested in the ongoing discussions around gun control and Second Amendment rights.